Vortex here, welcome to my review of the TRN T300, as you can see, with aptX. This is the successor to the T100 and the T200, so this is obviously named T300 to obviously to follow them. As a disclaimer, these were sent out to me by Linsol. I was not paid anything for this video, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own as usual. And let's get into the actual contents in the review. So just the packaging, like I said before, TRN T300, these do have aptX. With my phone they paired perfectly. I have a Poco F2 Pro and it uses aptX straight away. Here it says 2DD 1BA, which is an error. It's actually two balanced armatures, as you can see there. Two balanced armatures, one dynamic, and so it is actually a hybrid. Obviously just a typo, nothing there, nothing there. Just some information on the back about the company, email, address. Product might be upgraded, the drawings are for reference only. And that's it. One thing they don't state is this actually uses Bluetooth 5.2 now and has the QCC3046. So it does have an upgraded chipset, or well, a newer chipset over the 3020s, I think it's the one before. They should really put that on the box because it is technically an improvement. And yeah, let's actually get into the contents. I've just unboxed it to save some time, but it is one of these fancy ones that actually does that. So in there, obviously you got the actual case with the earbuds, which is there, and this section is in the bottom. So what you actually get is, let's open this first. Tips. So there's only 4, so it's 2 small there and 2 large. Obviously I will show you the ones on the actual buds themselves in a bit. Move that the way. And the charge cable. These also support wireless charging, but as I don't own a wireless charger, I can't unfortunately test that. Hopefully sometime in the future I will get one just for testing. So type C, which is the right thing, and obviously USB-A. Quite a really small charger, very thin, but I had no issues with it really. Quality control, inspection, which is still spelt wrong, but my pair actually work fine, so it's not really a big deal. Warranty card information, you get 1 year, user information. You get the guide, which I'll go over soon. Let it focus. And the earbuds themselves, so this is just a case, quite nice. Supports wireless charging, but again I can't try that. So type C. So quite nice actually. I'll show you this more in depth, but that's the power of the actual of the battery in the case, and that's the battery level of each one. So it is quite cool, but I'll show you those in a second. And on to the guide, because it is quite helpful. So the actual guide, TRN T300, box, tips, cable, manual, which is obviously this. Couple of different languages. We'll obviously go through English. So that's what they look like. I will obviously show you in a bit. How you turn them on, pairing. For me, I had no issues at all. There's a way of resetting. Obviously, you can pause the video to do this. Control volume. You have to press them 4 times. So, see, it says control volume, consecutive pressing. It's actually 4 times. So when you're using them both, press the right one 4 times to turn it up, volume up, and then 4 times in the left one to turn it down. Turning off, pairing, comes up with T300, voice assistant. A lot of this is normal, quite straightforward. But reconnecting, low battery warning, power off. specs which are quite useful. So there we go, the 3046, it's actually Bluetooth 5.2. My phone is Bluetooth 5.1, which is obviously close enough, and mine obviously used aptX. 10 meters, that's about fine. Playtime, I got about 4 hours, and then anything more than that you get the low power warning, so you have to charge them. And you can actually, the case can charge them around 6 times over, but that's rough maths, because obviously things can affect that. Just operating temperatures, charging times, and that's it. And I will go on to just a quick mic test so you can see what it sounds like. So this is just a quick mic test of the TRN T300. I'm speaking in normal volume in quite a quiet room, and this is just what it actually sounds like. And this is just a quick mic test of the T300. Now, as you just heard, basically a quick mic test to see what you actually think it sounds like. I use my PC to capture that, and I capture untouched with Audacity. I don't EQ or anything. So actually onto the buds themselves, supposed to be wireless charging, I can't check that. aptX, which works perfectly fine. 10 meter kind of range. Like I had no issues really with the actual kind of signal quality. It was all good for me. So plastic feels quite well built. Type C, as it should be these days. Take the lid off. Oops. So like I've shown before, that's the power of the case, which is currently 91%. That's the power of the left bud. It's trying to pair because it thinks because I've opened it, it wants to pair back to my phone. That's the power level of that one, which is obviously full. That one, which is full. Nothing there. Just take these out. So 3 connectors for each. Very straightforward. L on R. Build quality is fine. I like that. It seems like it seems a little retro, but I think it works. Works fine. No issues. No issue at all. So actually onto the. When you first get these, there will be a small cover over them. So basically they'll be completely separate. So you won't try and keep charging them. There's probably a little bit of the residue left. Obviously right for R. L for left. That's what it looks like. You can see there's a little lip for the nozzle. As you can see, they're quite wide. So, for example, I will get something close. Obviously not TWS, but so it's the left one. ZAX, for example. See, it's a little bit thicker. But with it being actually quite thick, I had no issues at all really. Build quality is quite good. See, it's a single multifunction button in the middle. As you can see, you just get some fingerprints a bit, but I don't think it's really a big deal. Quite light. The build quality actually seems quite good. I had no issues at all with actual build quality or functionality. The signal strength between each bud was good. The sound quality, I'll go into sound. I found it had a nice easy V shape. I was expecting these to be brighter sounding when I got them, but to my pleasant surprise they're not. And to go over what they are a 2 balanced armature, 1 dynamic driver per side, so 3 drivers each. Yeah, so it's an easy V shape. So obviously mid to push back a little bit, but they tuned it quite. What's the best way to describe it? They tuned it quite sensibly, as in a way to cover the mass market. So it's not aggressively tuned. So it's not overly basic or overly bright. It's nothing like that. Vocals, I think it sounded fine. Good bass punch really, not over the top, but it's enough to keep people happy. It's not bass light. Instruments and details is all quite clear. With the armatures, it does help. The overall sound tuning I thought was quite safe, but I like it. I think the actual sound quality was quite good. Comfort was actually fine. These do protrude at your ear, like I said, because they're quite, it's quite a wide unit. But again, I had no real issues at all. Isolation I thought was fine, nothing amazing, but it worked okay for what I wanted. Good that they've gone to a newer kind of chipset. Obviously I would have gone over like sensitivity and what they like to power, but obviously because it's connected to a chipset, you have no control of that, which is not a bad thing. Supports aptX, obviously, no issues, work fine for me. So we like YouTube, for example. The sync to my phone was perfect. I haven't tried this with any gaming, but I presume there will be like latency. I don't know how big it is. I don't use my phone for gaming, which, even though it is perfectly powerful enough to do, it's not my kind of thing. But for music, I think they've actually done quite a good job of that tuning. Quite subtle design. It's a bit wide, like I said, but it's not a big deal. These can be used individually if you want to. But to be honest, for all my testing, I used them as a pair because it's the most natural way of doing it. So that's the actual right one. The R's upside down. I don't know if that really matters, but it's not really a big deal. Not a bad pair at all. Say comfort was fine. Not much to say really. They've done overall quite a nice job. Obviously the cost keeps going up with TRN. Probably one of the better TRN products I've tried so far, because sometimes it's a bit hit or miss, but these are not too bad at all. And yeah, on to the actual conclusion. So TRN T300, overall I think they've actually done quite a nice job. I like the cool kind of retro power level. I like that it supports wireless charging. Unfortunately I couldn't test it. Good build quality, nice overall safe sound tuning. I'm glad they didn't go like overly bright like they've done with the TRN VX. Let's say it's got quite good. I think the water resistant is IP4. I think from memory. Unfortunately, I didn't test that either. But it should be fine if you use these for running, jogging. I don't see any issues at all with the actual build or the resistance with water. It should be fine. Obviously, you've heard a mic test. If you're happy with that or not, that's up to you. Personally, I've never used true wireless for really many phone calls at all, but that's obviously just my kind of use case. Good, very good product overall. It's just that the price keeps going up with every iteration, but they do use the latest Qualcomm chipset. And yeah, I think overall TRN have actually done a good product. So far, so good. I'm not sure what the quality control's like of this model, but for my pair seem perfectly fine. And yeah, thanks for watching and take care.